who you wound up supporting in the election, presidential election.
None of your business.
Denzel Washington is no stranger to the spotlight, but when a woke news reporter tried to corner him with a loaded question, the Hollywood legend delivered a response that left everyone stunned. In a world where celebrities often toe the line to avoid controversy, Washington's unfiltered reaction was a breath of fresh air. His bold stance against media manipulation and his refusal to be dragged into the political fray sent shockwaves through the industry.
Just wondering who you wound up supporting in the election and why.
Go ahead now. Fences.
How about this? I don't know if you saw it. There's a fake news story going around. It got thousands of shares online. You saw that. And I just thought you might want to clear it up because people are confused.
In 2016, Denzel Washington, a respected Hollywood actor, became the subject of a fake news story that falsely claimed he had endorsed Donald Trump in the presidential election.
And end with K, but that one ends with E, but it starts with F.
Yeah, but just too vague. You got to be specific right now. F, K, and E.
What was the question?
Well, that was a question. Who you wound up supporting in the election, presidential election?
None of your business.
This misleading report spread rapidly on social media, causing confusion among the public. During a press interview, a reporter confronted Washington about his supposed endorsement, clearly aiming for a sensational response. Washington, known for his integrity, responded with frustration and dismissed the question, refusing to be drawn into the political narrative. His reaction wasn't just about denying the false story, it was a statement against being forced into political categories by the media. He emphasized his preference to stay out of the divisive political arena and criticized the media's growing tendency to prioritize speed over truth in reporting. Washington's frustration was evident as he criticized the media's role in spreading misinformation, highlighting the importance of truth in journalism over being the first to report a story. He pointed out that society is more concerned with getting news out quickly rather than ensuring its accuracy, which often leads to harmful consequences.
There's been a lot of buzz about this fake news. You were the subject of a fake news story.
Oh yeah, what they say? I was running for president. No, I voted.
No,
what they say?
You switched your support.
I switched. Yeah.
What do you make of all the fake news and it affects
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
So what do you do?
Washington's criticism of the media didn't stop at this incident. He expressed a broader concern about the reliability of news sources, questioning the integrity of modern journalism. He famously remarked on the difficulty of finding truthful information in today's media landscape, where the rush to publish often overshadows the need for accuracy.
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares?
This problem is exacerbated by the ease with which misinformation can spread on social media, leading to widespread public confusion. Washington's skepticism reflects a growing distrust in the media, where the need to attract viewers or generate clicks sometimes outweighs the commitment to truth. He urged journalists to focus on their responsibility to provide accurate and reliable information rather than just trying to be the first to break a story.
Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at, including BS.
You told me last time.
Okay. But you heard me? Does that make sense?
I hear it.
Washington's comments serve as a reminder of the crucial role that the media plays in shaping public opinion and the dangers of misinformation in an increasingly digital world.
You know, race relationships have to do with race relationships. You're white or whatever you are, I'm black or whatever I am. We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. You can't legislate love. The President of the United States can't legislate us into liking each other. We have to step forward and ask questions about each other and engage.
Denzel Washington has often found himself at the center of discussion surrounding woke culture, particularly concerning its impact on race and politics. His views on these subjects are marked by a blend of personal integrity and practical wisdom, reflecting a nuanced understanding of societal issues. One of the key moments where Washington directly addressed the topic of woke culture was during various interviews where he was asked about race relations and political movements like Black Lives Matter. His responses have consistently emphasized the importance of individual relationships and personal interactions in resolving racial tensions, rather than relying solely on legislative changes or media narratives. For instance, when asked about whether race relations had improved in America under President Obama, Washington pointed out that race relationships are fundamentally about personal relationships between individuals, not about government action.
There's no law that says, oh, because I'm president, you all got to get along now. So it's up to us.
He suggested that real change comes from people talking and learning about each other on a personal level, rather than from laws or policies. Washington's approach to discussions on the Black Lives Matter movement further illustrates his stance.
We live in America, and in America we have the freedom to express ourselves. We shouldn't take that for granted. So whatever the movements are, whether you agree with them or don't, they have the right to express themselves. So that's one of the great things about being in this country, that you do have the right to protest.
He has expressed support for the fundamental right to protest and the importance of free speech, yet he avoids endorsing or criticizing the movement outright. Instead, he focuses on the broader context of freedom of expression and the importance of constructive dialogue. This measured and thoughtful approach underscores Washington's belief in personal accountability and the power of individual actions in addressing complex societal issues.
It's much better now. I was, there were no roles like this. You know, I did well, I don't want to talk about other films or other filmmakers, but I've been in the game, whatever it is, 35, 40 years. It obviously wasn't like that.
Denzel Washington is not just an actor, he is a profound thinker when it comes to the nuances of cultural and racial narratives in cinema. He believes strongly in the authenticity of cultural representation, often emphasizing that the true essence of a character or story comes from its cultural roots, rather than merely its racial background. This belief is a cornerstone of his approach to filmmaking and acting.
People like Spike pushing the envelope, getting their films funded, going out.
Long before that.
Gordon,
let's talk to the historian, man.
Who we talking about? Who we talking about?
I'm talking about Steve, because Steve knows.
What are we talking?
I'm talking about I'm talking about from Stephen Fetchit to Eddie Rochester.
One of the most telling examples of Washington's commitment to cultural authenticity is seen in his film Fences. This movie, adapted from August Wilson's play of the same name, delves into the complexities of African American life and relationships in the 1950s. Washington directed the film and starred as the lead character, Troy Maxson, a role that demanded not just an understanding of the time period, but also a profound grasp of the cultural dynamics at play.
Everybody did what they had to do, and they laid the groundwork. We can name them: Gloria Foster, Hattie McDaniel, James Edwards. Who was Edwards was before Sidney.
Home of the
Paul
Brave.
Robeson.
You know,
they laid the groundwork for us.
But saying creating roles the way,
if it ain't on the page, it ain't on the stage. So you got to write
like
it.
that.
During the production and direction of Fences, Washington insisted on a directorial approach that was deeply informed by the cultural experiences of the characters. He argued that to truly do justice to the story, the director needed to comprehend the cultural context behind the characters' behaviors, motivations, and dialogues. This approach was about more than just having black actors or setting the story in a historically black neighborhood. It was about bringing out the lived experiences, cultural nuances, and familial interactions that are specific to that community.
August Wilson is writing how we feel. That's why I'm producing all 10 of them. Because of all those people who laid the groundwork for me to be in the position I'm in, I'm going to make sure that there's hundreds of roles for the next generation and utilize the power that I have at this moment in order to do that, and nobody's gonna get in my way.
Washington's stance on cultural authenticity in filmmaking contrasts sharply with the typical woke narrative that often dominates Hollywood today. In contemporary discussions about diversity in film, there is a strong push for including diverse racial backgrounds. While this is undeniably important, Washington argues that it should not come at the expense of cultural authenticity. He believes that focusing solely on race can lead to superficial portrayals that fail to capture the complexities and richness of different cultures. He encourages filmmakers to dig deeper than the surface level of race and to explore the cultural stories that define different human experiences. This approach not only enriches the narrative but also educates the audience, offering them a more profound understanding of diversity beyond physical appearances.
So why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have?
It's not color, it's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're
Steven
in a space
Spielberg
right
did Schindler's List. Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas. right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas.
In today's media-saturated environment, celebrities often find themselves at the center of political conversations, sometimes willingly and other times by the sheer force of public expectation. Denzel Washington's interactions with the media offer a refreshing perspective on the role of celebrities in political discourse, especially in an era where they are frequently expected to take a stand on political issues.
You know, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like. That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference.
Right.
So it's the culture.
You know about a hot comb scenario?
No, she don't know about no hot comb.
Because that's
You don't
that's
know.
old
You
school.
don't know nothing about.
There's a growing trend where actors, musicians, and other public figures are not only encouraged, but sometimes pressured to voice their political opinions. This expectation can skew the public's perception of complex issues, reducing them to mere endorsements rather than nuanced discussions. Washington, known for his deliberate and thoughtful approach, subtly but effectively criticizes this trend. He advocates for a more reserved role for celebrities in politics, suggesting that being in the limelight does not necessarily qualify one to influence political decisions or sway public opinion. Washington himself takes a notably reserved approach when it comes to political involvement. He emphasizes the importance of personal belief and authenticity over conforming to public expectations or media pressure. For instance, when probed about his political affiliations or thoughts on political movements like Black Lives Matter, he focuses on the principles of freedom of speech and individual responsibility rather than declaring allegiance to any side. His stance is not about evading responsibility, but rather about stressing the significance of forming one's own opinions based on personal experiences and beliefs rather than celebrity influence. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into moments that matter.